team we witnessed in this tournament tonight. The Nova Nation has another national championship.
Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown! Alabama wins!
College athletes are making millions of dollars a year for their school. In fact, the NCAA has a revenue of about $1 billion. And do you know how much money goes to the student athletes? Zero. This has caused a lot of people to question if student athletes should be getting some of that money.
Let me get this right. I can be a high school athlete and I can't go straight to the league because the system is designed for me to go play in college so that you can profit off of me, but yet I'm not allowed to profit off of myself in any way, shape, or form. Not my likeness, not my autograph. What if I had another talent? What if I wanted to be an author? I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not even allowed to get a job if I'm a scholarship athlete. And also, when you sign a letter of intent, you're also basically signing a shoe contract. Imagine if you go to a school and they're wearing said brand shoe and you decided you didn't want to wear that shoe. Guess what? You can't play for that team. And international prospects, they're allowed to go straight to the pros. Look at it.
These students aren't allowed to make any money off their name while being a student athlete. They aren't allowed to make money or take money from anyone, or they could be kicked off the team. A lot of people would say these kids are getting a free education at some of the top schools in the country, so that should be enough. With most of these kids coming from poor homes, not being able to make any money while being in college really hurts. Not being able to make money aside, a lot of people don't even know what it takes to be a student athlete nowadays. People don't consider all the hard work and dedication these kids put into their sport every day, and still having to go to school full time. To shed some light on just what it takes to be a student athlete nowadays, I sat down with North Carolina A&T superstar Femi Alojubi to get a look inside just what being a student athlete is like and how do these students feel about not being paid.
A typical day would be I will wake up around 5:30, brush my teeth, do all the normal stuff. I will have to walk down to our weight room, which is located maybe roughly 5 minutes away from my dorm, walking distance. I have to be there 10 minutes prior to our lift. We'll lift at 6 a.m. The lift will roughly take about an hour and a half. Then I'll be forced to rush back to my room, shower, gather everything I need for my class, which will start at 8 a.m. That ends at 8:50. I'll have to try to find some way to get something to eat before my next class, which will start at 10. Then after that, I will go back to the room. I'm required, well, me being senior this year, I wasn't required to do study hall, but athletes who are undergrads and still haven't been given that privilege yet would have to find hours to go to study hall and that they have to complete weekly, which on average is probably 8 hours a week. So that time would have to be factored in as well. Then I would have to go to class again at 2 p.m. And then following my class, I would have to rush over to the gym, get taped before practice, which starts at 4. Then I would practice from maybe 4 to about 7. That'll take place. I would then work out again after practice with one of my coaches or some of my teammates. Then I will go back to the room, shower, and then try to complete all of my assignments that I have to do in a given time. First off, the NCAA is a nonprofit association, but they take in an annual revenue of over $1 billion. I believe they just signed a deal with CBS to the rights of March Madness, hosting it on the network, and that alone was an $11 billion deal. A deal that was made purely off the talents of the student athletes and what they bring to the table, because if you don't have any student athletes out there performing on the floor, then there's nothing to be paid for. Me being a basketball athlete at a high level, Division I level, I know what it takes and the time demanded of you in order to be on the program and to satisfy your coaches. There's countless hours that we put into the gym on a weekly basis and a daily basis and not just within practice, we're also required to lift. Doing all this while also still being required to manage our schoolwork as well, which is a very hard task. I don't believe that normal students understand the difficulty of going and competing, flying back literally after the competition, and then still having to complete your assignment that's due at 11:59. Honestly, there's not a lot of money to have. Honestly, when you look at statistic-wise, a lot of the athletes who are in college come from a low-income household. So just being able to rely on your family to send you money isn't always an option. So it's tough at times. I could tell you plenty of times where I went without eating. And it's kind of like surreal to think about, being that this association makes so much money off of my name, and I'm not even allowed to market myself and be able to make income for myself in order to provide for myself and my family. Also, just I feel like just paying college athletes would one of the benefits would be people will stay in school longer. It's a big thing where people are talking about how college athletes come to school for 1 year and then leave to go pursue a career in the professional sports realm. But if you were to pay the athletes, I believe that some would stay longer and they will take more pride in receiving their education. I believe a big reason why athletes leave is just because of the immediate income that their family needs. So that's one thing.
Some of these kids are billion-dollar names for these colleges, but still in school struggling to eat. With more than enough money to go around, and more people calling for a change, who knows? Maybe one day the NCAA will rethink their rules.